do this. I think we should
Yes.
do the big production. It's taken 2 months to get you on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and whoever you are, please put your hands together and welcome from the shore, from the banks, the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. I've got a in the Loch Lomond, and could you please welcome, give a big World Storytelling Cafe welcome to Donald Nelson.
Well, if anybody has been up to Scotland and round about the Falkirk area, they may have seen the sculptures, or should I, they're not really sculptures. There's a good bit of welding going on there of the Kelpies. They are magnificent, they're enormous, they're beautiful. But should we celebrate Kelpies? I don't know, because they were terrible, terrible, terrible creatures. And they would stay in the water and they would surprise people. And I'm going to tell you a story about a young girl. And this young girl was called Ishbel. And Ishbel lived with her mum and her dad on a little farm, a croft, as you would call it, a little croft at the top of a loch, at the top of Loch Long, in a place called Sucketh. And she worked on the farm, and she would look after the cows, and she would look after the sheep. And one day, one of the cows gave birth to a calf. Now, this calf was black, black as you could be. It had red eyes, it had red nostrils, red lips, and they realised that this was a fairy calf, because the fairies would allow their bulls to mingle with the ordinary people cows, and they would mate with them. Now, this bull wasn't an ordinary bull. He would bellow, he would shout, he would bawl, he would crash around, and they had to keep him in a pen, an extra special pen, an extra strong pen, where they put up extra fences. What was that noise? They would put up extra fences just to keep this young bull in. Now, one day, Ishbel was walking down by the loch, and she spotted this young man sitting by the side of the loch, and she said to him, "Hello, I've not seen you around about here before." And he said, yeah, well, I travel about a bit, but I've a beautiful long blonde hair. And he said, "Could you lend me a comb?" Now, it just happened that Ishbel had a comb in the pocket of her apron. So she took the pocket out. She took the comb out of her pocket, and she started to comb the young man's hair. And she sat down in the grass, and the young man lay her head against her lap and combed, and she combed, and she combed. But the back of his hair was all tangled, and it was wet. And she thought, that's unusual, because it's not been raining. And then she noticed there was strands of hair strands, and in his strands of hair, there were strands of like seaweed and like bits of moss and all sorts. And she was combing it. She thought that's really unusual. And then she realised that this wasn't an ordinary young man. This young man had come out of the loch, going by his hair being wet and the wee bits of weed in his hair. And she thought, this is strange. So she started to sing while the young man was lying there with his head on her lap. She started to sing a wee song. When I done my work of day, and I row my boat away on the waters o' Loch Tay, as evening light is fading. And as she sang, he drifted off to sleep. And she slipped off her apron and she left it there with the young man's head lying on it. And she started to walk away. And then she started to run. And she ran and she ran. And then she heard behind her a noise. That was meant to sound like a horse. and she ran and ran, and then she heard footsteps behind her, and it wasn't 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, the way a human being would run. It was a horse, and it ran behind her, and she was running, and she could feel the horse coming up behind her. She could hear the hoofs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And she got to the gate where the bull was, and she had an idea. She flicked open the gate and pushed it open and hid behind it, and the bull came out, the fairy bull, the bellowing, shouting, angry bull came out and challenged the horse, the Kelpie, and the two of them had a fight, and Ishbel ran home, all the way home, and from the front door she saw the bull and the Kelpie fighting and fighting and fighting, closer and closer and closer to the shore, until the both of them fell into the water, and they were never seen again. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't let your kids play too near the water if you're round about a loch. And that's it. Sorry about I kind of stuttered and started the start of that one, because that was a story that was adapted by Larry Dawn. I don't know if you know Larry, Pauline. No, everybody's kind of frozen. Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. I'm just asking Pauline if she knew Larry Dawn, because it's a good story.
Pauline.
Yes,
Yes,
I've heard of Larry Dawn. I've never met her, but I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She's really good. But anyway, right, I'll give you another story, and some of you have probably heard me telling this story before, and it's all about the gossiping wife. Now, there was a woodcutter who would go into the woods every day, and he would cut some wood, and he would take it down the market, and he would sell it, and he wouldn't get a lot let's face it, there's not a lot of money in firewood. So he would go down the market every day and bring what he made back to his wife. He'd buy a wee bit of shopping and bring it back to his wife. But one day, excuse me, I'm going to just take my glasses off because I know I can't see the screen without them. One day, he went into the woods and he found this tree, this big old dead tree that he'd never seen before. And he thought, that's a lot of wood. I can make some money out of this. That is a lot of wood. So he took his axe and he swung it. And instead of going thunk, it went ka-ching. And he thought, that's odd. So he took his axe again and he swung it, thunk, ka-ching. And he thought, that's weird. So he went right, he looked about the tree and he went round the other side of it. And there was a hollow in the tree. And in the hollow in the tree was a bag. And in that bag, Molly, can you guess what's in the bag?
In the tree. What do you think was in the bag? Honey?
Maybe.
Ice cream?
Yum.
Kitten? She doesn't know. I think money.
You don't know.
Money.
I'll tell you then. What was in the bag was a lot of gold coins. Wow. And the woodcutter thought, wow, a lot of gold coins. I'm rich as rich can be now. And then he stopped because there was a problem. Well, there wasn't actually a problem. There were two problems. One was his wife. His wife could not keep a secret. She had to tell everybody about everything, about every single thing that happened in her life. And the second one was the laird. Now, if you didn't ken what a laird is, he's the Lord. The Lord, he lives in the big house up the hill, and this laird was a greedy man. He was selfish. He was a horrible person. And the woodcutter thought, if I tell my wife about this money that I've found, then she's going to tell other people, and then the laird is going to find out, and then the laird is going to take the money off me. Well, he had a wee think about it, and he put the money back in the tree, and he went away home. But on the way home, he stopped at a bush, and in that bush, he'd set a trap, he'd set a snare, and he'd caught a rabbit. Well, he took the rabbit and he walked along the path, and he came to the burn. Now, a burn, if you don't know, is a stream in Scottish. And he came to the burn and he pulled in a net that he'd set there. And there was a salmon, a lovely big, it was about that size, a beautiful big salmon. And he put the salmon in his bag, and he took the rabbit that he'd caught earlier and he stuck it in the net and threw it back in the river and back into the burn. And he went back and put the salmon in the snare. And then he went away home. And his wife said, "Oh, did you cut much wood today?" And he said, "Oh, no, didn't cut much wood. There wasn't wasn't much wood to cut today, but I'm really, really hungry. And she said, well, what would you like for your dinner? And he said, I would like some pancakes. And she said, how many would you like? And he went, about 10. So she made 10 pancakes and brought them through to him and put them on the table. And she went back into the kitchen. And he ate one pancake and he put 9 in his bag. And his wife came out of the kitchen and said to him, have you finished all these pancakes already? Wow, that's amazing. Are you still hungry? He said, yes. I would like another 10 pancakes, please. And she said, oh my goodness, you really are hungry. So she went in, made 10 pancakes, brought them out, and she went back to the kitchen and he ate one pancake and then he put the rest in his bag. And his wife came out of the kitchen and said, my goodness, if you've eaten all these pancakes already, did you not even want some maple syrup or something? And he said, no, I'm fine. Can I have another 10, please? So she went in, made another 10, brought them out, and she went back to the kitchen. And he put 1 in his mouth and 9 in the bag. And she came back out and she said, oh, goodness gracious me, you've eaten all these pancakes already. And she had her own dinner. And she ate that. And the woodcutter said, listen, I've got something to tell you. And it's a secret. But I can't tell you until tomorrow morning. And he said, and the woodcutter's wife said, well, what's the secret? What's that? He said, I can't tell you until tomorrow morning. And she said, oh, please, will you tell me? And he said, no, I can't tell you until tomorrow. And you have to come to the woods with me. And she said, you've never asked me to come to work with you before. And he said, this is really special. Honestly, something really, really special. You must come. Well, they went to bed, and that night, the woodcutter's wife couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned and turned and tossed. And then she was up early, and she woke the woodcutter up and said, come on, let's go, let's go to work. Show me what you got to show me. Well, the woodcutter got up and he got dressed and they started walking on. And once they were sort of halfway through the woods, the woodcutter said, I've got to go and do something. You wait here and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Now, he went round a path that he knew and further up, and there was a tree, and the pancakes that he'd put in his bag, he hung the pancakes on the tree, and he went back round to his wife, and he said to his wife, I'm a bit hungry. I didn't have very much of breakfast. And she said, oh, I'm really sorry. I was so excited about this thing you're going to show me that I just couldn't make enough breakfast. And the woodcutter said, don't worry, there's a pancake tree just round the bend here. And she said, a pancake tree? There's no such thing as a pancake tree. And he said, oh yes, there is. And he said, come along with me, and walked along the path. And sure enough, once you get round the bend, there was this tree and there was pancakes hanging from it. And she said, that is amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. And the woodcutter took a pancake down from a tree and started to eat it. And he took another one down and said, here, try that. And she said, they're quite nice. but they're not as good as mine. And the woodcutter said, no, dear, of course they're not as good as yours. And they ate some, and they put some in the bag, and they moved on. And the woodcutter's wife was saying, a pancake tree? I never, ever would have believed that. They walked on, and when they came to the bush, the woodcutter said, hold on a second, I've got to do something. And he went into the bush and he pulled out the salmon from the trap. And the woman said, no, his wife said, what, a salmon on the land? She said, I know salmon can jump, but they can't jump that high, surely. And he said, oh, no, this is a land salmon. You see, these land salmon, they go about and they can climb trees with their flippers, you know, with their fins. You know, they're very, very versatile. And she went, oh, right, a land salmon. I've never heard of one of them before. And they walked on and they came to the river. And the woodcutter said, hold on a second, I've got to do something. And he pulled the net in, and there was a rabbit in the net. And the woodcutter's wife said, oh, look at that poor wee rabbit. Oh, it must have fallen in, it's been caught in your net and it's drowned. And the woodcutter said, no, this is a river rabbit. Have you never seen a river rabbit? She said, no, I come from the city and I don't really know your country ways. And the woodcutter said, well, the river rabbit, it swims about, it uses its ears to swim, and they can actually swim quite fast. All right, yeah. So the woodcutter put it in his bag and they walked on and they got to the tree, the hollow tree. And he said, now listen, you must never, ever, ever tell anyone what I'm going to show you. And she said, oh, moi? Would I do that? Would I tell anyone? And the woodcutter said, just don't tell anyone. And he put his hand in the hollow of the tree and he pulled out the bag of gold coins. And the woodcutter's wife said, oh, we're rich. Shh. If the laird finds out, that greedy laird, he will take all this money from us. So you must never, ever, ever tell anyone about this money. I won't. Moi, I would never do that. And they walked back to the house. Now, they took a stone from their fireplace, a loose stone, and they put the bag of coins in, and then they pushed the stone back. And they spent it very, very carefully because they didn't want to draw attention to the money they had. But the woodcutter's wife, as we said in Glasgow, she couldn't hold her water. She couldn't hold it in. And one day she was out in the garden and her best friend Maggie was passing by, and she said, Maggie, come here. I've got something to tell you. Now you must never, ever, ever tell anyone. And she went, moi? Would I? And she said, well, we found some gold in the forest, but the laird mustn't know because you'll take it all off us. And she said, oh, that's marvellous. I won't tell anyone. But of course, Maggie had another friend, and she told her friend, and then Maggie's friend told a friend, and then this friend told a friend, and I told a friend, and told a friend, and told a friend, until it was all round the village. And one day, the maid from the castle was down in the butcher's shop, and the butcher said, "Did you hear about that money that the woodcutter found?" And she said, "No." And the butcher told her, and she went away back up to the castle, and she went into the kitchen, and the butler was there, and she told the butler, and the butler said, "That's amazing, that's fantastic." And he told some of the other staff, and pretty soon round the laird's castle this was going on. The woodcutters found some gold coins in the forest, and eventually, of course, it came back to the greedy, horrible, stingy laird, and he called the maid and the butler in front of him. "Who is this woodcutter that has got my gold?" See, his gold, yeah. "My gold, get him here at once." So he sent his men down to the woodcutter's cottage and brought him and his wife up to sit in front of him. And he sat in his big throne. And he said, "Okay, woodcutter, you found some gold in my forest." And in the back of the woodcutter's mind is, it's not your forest. You just took it from the man that owned it. You stole it from him. But my forest, you've taken my gold. And the woodcutter said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "Yes, you found gold in my forest and I want it." Because his thinking was, if there was gold there, then there must be more gold somewhere else round about. And the woodcutter said, "I have not got a clue what you're talking about." And the laird turned to the woodcutter's wife and said, "Okay, woodcutter's wife, did your husband find gold in the forest?" And the woodcutter's wife just went, "I don't know," because he was a big scary man, and he was the boss of the whole area, and she didn't know what to say, and she said, "I don't know." And he turned back to the woodcutter. "Woodcutter, tell your wife to tell me where you found the gold." And the woodcutter said, "I have not got a clue what you're talking about." And the laird turned back to the wife again and said, "Okay, if you do not tell me now, I'm going to chop off your head." And the woodcutter's wife said, well, we did find gold, but it was in a tree. In a tree? Where was this tree? Well, it was in the woods, and it was in your forest, and whereabouts? "I don't know. I've never been in the forest. It's the first time I've been in the forest." He said, "Well, describe your journey." And she said, "Well, we went along the path, and we came to some bushes, and we found a salmon in the bushes." He said, "You found a salmon in the bushes?" She said, "Yes, it was in a trap. It was in a snare." And he said, how can a salmon be in the bushes?" She said, "Oh, it's a land salmon. And they can walk about with their fins, and they can actually climb trees and everything." And the laird said, "I've never heard anything in my life like that. Okay, where did you go next?" She said, "Well, we walked down and we passed by the river, and we pulled in a net, and there was a rabbit in the net. And the laird said, "What? The poor rabbit had drowned." And she said, "No, no, no, no. It's a river rabbit. They can swim really fast. They use their ears to swim, and they're really, really fast sometimes." And he said, "Oh, land salmons, river rabbits, rubbish." And she said, "Well, it's we were quite hungry when we got there, so we had some pancakes from the pancake tree." And he said, "Pancake tree? Pancake? What on earth is a pancake tree?" And she said, "Well, it's a tree that grows pancakes." "I've never seen one of them in my life." "Oh yes," she said. "Well, they were lovely. They weren't as good as my pancakes, but they were delicious." "Oh, on you go, on you go. So what happened next?" She said, "Then we got to the tree, and there was a big bag of gold coins." And then the laird said, "A big bag of gold coins? Are you kidding me on? You've got a river rabbit, you've got a land salmon, you've got a pancake tray, and now you've got a bag of gold coins. You women are talking absolute nonsense. I don't believe a word you say. You are as nutty as a bag of nuts. Now get out of my castle now." And they went away. And the woodcutter and his wife pulled the block of stone from the fireplace and took the gold, and they went away, far, far away. And they found the man who the laird who'd taken the forest from, and they gave him his gold back, and in reward he gave them some gold coins, and that was enough to do them for the rest of their life. They got a nice wee cottage, and they lived, as they say in stories, happily ever after. Thank you.
Yay.
You're going to sing the song.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Moi?
You know, Fiona ran back 2 miles to see you. She was in the middle of the forest.
John, you're talking like a...
But she left the bag of gold in the forest, and she ran back over 2 miles just to see it. Isn't that true, Fiona?
John, you're echoing.
You're at the bottom of
everybody.
Okay.
How are things at the bottom of the well, John?
You can talk to him now. Are you going to sing us a song, Donald?
Well, oh, sorry.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, my roadie's just got to get the guitar.
Well, I met a rabbit.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Rabbit running around.
my roadie's just kicked my wine over. I don't like tomatoes, and they don't like.
Okay,
Don't think they like me. Wouldn't say I hate them, and they're not my enemy. Pauline, I can't mind the words.
We try so hard to get along
Along,
by staying
too
too
far apart. I don't like tomatoes. They always make me far too unhappy.
happy.
I don't like tomatoes and I don't think they like me. I wouldn't say I hate them and I'm not my enemy. Come on, Polly, go.
Oh, we try so hard to get along by staying far apart. I don't
I
like
don't like tomatoes. They always make me far too unhappy.
That's my. I love that.
Time for a quickie. Have we got time for a quickie? Mm.
Yes. Yes.
Right, for Molly. Are you listening?
Are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
The maltster. Right.
Yes.
Now, Angus and Mary had a little croft. Away up, away up, further than you are in the Highlands, did a croft. And Angus had some animals. Now, Molly, I'm asking you, what animals would live in a croft?
What do you have a thought?
Cows.
Well, tell him, don't tell me.
Cows, yeah.
Cows, chickens, sheep,
Yep. Uh-huh.
other animals.
Pig, she said.
Yeah.
Cows, chickens, sheep, and a pig.
Well, yes. Well, Angus had all these animals, especially they also had a cat and a dog, because you needed a dog to round the sheep up and you need a cat to catch all the mice and rats and whatever round about a croft. And Angus looked after all the animals. Now, Mary, she had a wee vegetable garden. So, Molly, what would you grow in a vegetable garden?
Strawberries,
What?
Strawberries.
carrots,
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
oranges,
It's a bit exotic.
Did you say oranges? Anyway, in Mary's garden, she did have some carrots, she had onions, she had beans, and she had potatoes. And potatoes were the greatest thing in the world, according to the folks round about. She grew some delicious potatoes. Now, apart from the cows and the sheep and the chickens, Angus also had a goat,
Oh.
and his name was Gussie Goat, but everyone knew him as Greedy Gussie Goat, because Greedy Gussie Goat would eat anything. He would eat all the grass in the front lawn, which was quite good because it saved him cutting it, and he would eat all the stuff out the dustbin. And one day, he even ate a pair of Angus's underpants from the washing line. But that's all right because they were clean. Anyway, one day, Mary was in a wee vegetable garden, which had a fence round it and a gate to let her in and out. And Angus was down in the fields looking after the animals. Now, Mary was waiting for a parcel, and she saw the post van coming down the street, and she, oh, there's a postie, and she ran away down. She got her parcel, she put it in the house. What do you think she forgot to do when she left her wee vegetable garden, Molly?
Close the gate.
Yes, she forgot to close the gate, and greedy Gussie Goat. That looks interesting. Never been in there before. And he wandered in, and he dug up some carrots and tasted them. They're quite nice. And then he dug up some onions and tasted them. And it made him cry. And he tried some of the peas, and then he got to the potatoes, and he took his hoofs and he dug some of them up, and he tasted one. Now, human beings shouldn't eat raw potato, but for goats, oh, it was delicious. It was the most delicious thing he'd ever tasted in his life, and he kept eating them and eating them and eating them. And then Mary put the parcel in her cottage and then come back up, and she thought, oh no, greedy Gussie Goat's in at my potatoes. And she grabbed the wee rope that was round his neck, and she tried to pull him out, but she couldn't pull him out. It was far too strong, and he just kept eating. And she shouted, Angus! Angus! And Angus came running up the fields, and he held onto the rope, and the two of them tried to pull and pull and pull, but no, couldn't move greedy Gussie Goat at all. And then they heard a voice beside them. Maybe I can help. And they looked down, and there was old Mother Hen. And old Mother Hen said, I can do something. And Angus looked at Mary, and Mary looked at Angus and said, well, you might as well try. And she went over and she said, greedy Gussie Goat, you're a very, very, very naughty boy. Stop eating Mary's potatoes at once. Do you think greedy Gussie Goat cared? No. He took 2 steps back, lifted up his horns, 2 steps forward, and he butted old Mother Hen so hard that she landed on the roof of the byre. Well, Angus looked at Mary, and Mary looked at Angus, and they said, what are we going to do now? And then they heard a voice beside them. Oh, maybe I can help. And they looked down, and they was, what was it, mate? Molly?
What animal was it?
A cat.
The cat, that's right.
A cat.
Yeah. And Mary looked at Angus, and Angus looked at Mary and said, well, we couldn't help. Only Mother Hen couldn't help. What are you going to do? And the cat just went over to greedy Gussie Goat and said, if you don't stop eating Mary's potatoes, I'm going to scratch you. Do you think greedy Gussie Goat cared? No. Just took 2 steps back, flipped up his horns, 2 steps forward, and butted the cat so hard it landed on the roof of the byre beside old Mother Hen. Well, Angus looked at Mary, Mary looked at Angus, and they said, what are we going to do now? And then they heard a voice beside them saying, I'll do something about this. And there was a dog. And the dog said, I can sort him out. And Mary looked at Angus, and Angus looked at Mary and said, well, old Mother Hen couldn't help. The cat couldn't help. Maybe the dog can do something. And the dog went over to greedy Gussie Goat and said, if you don't stop eating Mary's potatoes, I'm going to bite you. Do you think Greedy Gussie Goat cared? No. Took 2 steps back, flipped up his horns, 2 steps forward, and bang! Butted the dog so hard it landed up on the roof of the byre, beside Old Mother Hen, the cat. And Angus looked at Mary, and Mary looked at Angus, and they said, what are we going to do now? And then they heard a tiny, tiny little voice next to them and said, maybe I can help. What do you think that was, Molly? Tiny, tiny little voice.
Mouse? Mouse?
Say it louder.
Mouse?
No, smaller than a mouse.
Ladybirds?
No, you're on the right track there, but it kind of walks like that.
Butterfly?
No, not a butterfly.
Spider? One of these?
Spider. Yeah, a
One of these.
tiny little spider. And Angus looked at Mary, and Mary looked at Angus and said, what can we do? Old Mother Hen couldn't help, the cat couldn't help, the dog couldn't help. What are you going to do? And the wee spider said, just watch and learn. And it crawled across the ground, and it got to Greedy Gussie's goat's back leg, and it crawled up the back leg, and because it's so small, Greedy Gussie Goat couldn't feel it. And then once it got to Greedy Gussie's goats, it took its legs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, dug them in really, really hard, and then opened its mouth and bit Greedy Gussie Goat right on there.
Hooky!
And Greedy Gussie Goat went, ah! And he jumped so high. Guess where he ended up?
Where did he end up?
On the roof.
On the roof, along with Old Mother Hen and the cat and the dog. Well, it took Angus and Mary all day to get the animals back down from the roof of the byre. But ever since then, Mary didn't even need to have a fence round her wee vegetable garden, because Greedy Gussie Goat had learned his lesson. And he never, ever went near there again.
Hey. Nice one, Donald. And
Brilliant.
have I stopped echoing?
Yes, you have now.
Well, I've
Yeah,
changed machines.
yeah, you have.
Changed machines.
Yeah,
And Donald,
yeah.
can we have one more song before you go? I haven't heard you sing for ages.
Oh, right.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Molly can make the request.
Well, this is the song that I sang a wee bit of this in the first story I told. When I've done my work of day and I roll the boat away, and the water's all okay as the evening light is fading, and I look upon Ben Lawers where the after glory glows,
and I think on two bright eyes where melting mouth below. It's my beauty still grow, my joy and sorrow too, although she is not true. Well, I cannot live without her. Now my heart's a boat in tow, and I give the world to know why she means to let me go as I sing hero. Me and you lovely hair, more glamour I declare than all the Tracy's fair. Twixt killing in Aberfeldy, Beadling white brown or gold, Beadle like a band of snow. There was no more to me than a melting flake of snow. Her eyes are like a gleam, or the sunlight on the stream, and the songs the fairies sing seem like songs she sings at milking. Now my heart is full of woe, but last night she begged me go, and a tear begins to flow as I sing hero.
Whoa. Let's unmute everybody.
Let's finish off in a sad song, eh?
Yeah. John, that was great. And, you know, old men and technology are not a good mixture. But you did.
I have been struggling all day to
Yeah.
do this, to sort this out. And Pauline's
But well
been
done. Well done.
Well done.
Yeah, I'd thank you so much for struggling with it, Donald.
Yeah.
We got some really good stuff live this week, you know, by younger people. Actually, not that much because Saturday's me, but but ignoring that. So Saturday at 2, I'm live because we should be on field, shouldn't we? Say hello to some of your field friends. Say hello to Fiona.
Hello, Fiona. Oh.
Yeah.
Stay here.
Yeah. She gets bigger.
To be here.
She was no bigger than the size of my thumb when you last saw her.
I know, yeah. This is beautiful young lady.
And, so because we can't be on fields, I'm pretending I'm at Strawberry Fair on Saturday at 2,
Yeah.
and you know, I've been going there 30 years and I've missed about 4, and this is only the second year in that 30 it hasn't run. And then on Saturday night at 6, we got Giles Abbott doing Viking stories again with James doing drawings. But so he's doing drawings while Giles is telling stories.
Yeah,
which is brilliant. Monday we've got the magazine. Monday night is the magazine, Connecting the World by Stories, and this time it's going to be with song and stories in song. So you know, if you want to just chip in there with the song, like I've got a lot of people already. But Pauline, you're doing me a song, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do something.
Doing a ballad, and Orla's doing some stuff from Ireland, and Rika's doing stuff from Finland, and we've got a pre-recorded. Rory McLeod sent me something about but a song is written about this time, about about lockdown, you know, and so we're doing sort of stories in songs that could be from way back in time, historical moments to the very up till now, and and Kath Little is going to come on and sing.
Oh, lovely.
So we,
Cat.
you know,
Yeah.
we have a lot of candidates from a lot of fields that we've been in. And then on Tuesday, as if that wasn't good enough, on Tuesday we've got Dave Tong doing his book launch for his medieval tales.
Oh, God.
So what a
Really?
week we've got coming up. And
Yeah.
Sunday night, I forgot Sunday night. Norman Perrin from Canada is live on Sunday night. So, you know, we are pootling around. Oh, and the other thing we've got Moroccan song coming in on Monday night. So we're having Zahar doing she's singing the song in the native language, but telling the story of the song in English. So, you know,
Yeah.
so we're really having
Yeah.
we're really having a sort of we're going from Canada to Fez to Finland, roll around the UK and Ireland, and so I think, you know, there'll obviously be time for a song. So, you know, a story song from you, Donald, would be amazing.
Yeah.
So because I just like to aggravate you and make you fight the technology. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all right. If I've got Sue to sort me out. So.
Well, she did well. She did well. And
Yeah.
you know, but it actually looked like you did it yourself. So that's really good.
Got my hand behind you.
Hello, Sue.
Hello.
So anyway, lovely to see you.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. You know, for 2.5 months, he's been saying, "I'll send you something. I'll send you something," and then he says, "I've lost my computer," and then he says, "We haven't got electricity by Loch Lomond." I said, "Well, use a water mill then." So we can't. So he's got a little generator working outside his house right now. So to power the computer he borrowed.
We've got Gilbert on a bicycle.
So well done. Can we have a final round of applause for Donald?
Woo!
Old man rule.
Stephanie, hello. Not spoken to you yet.
Me there. Oh,
Right, didn't hear me
You're
there, did you? Yeah.
good.
Coping with lockdown, yeah.
I love lockdown. I don't have to do anything. It's great.
Coping with lockdown with her.
Well, yeah, you know, it's one setback, but you know, you haven't got locked down with John.
Okay, right, folks. Right. Goodbye. Thank you very, very much for hosting me.
Thank you. I hope we've stressed you out enough.
Right.
Bye.
Now you can take off.
I'll get you.